Daddy Mac. Dan's 30 years got our way, trading life and markets every day. Rusty's chained to the mines, digging deep day by day. But when Option Omega releases new features, he's free to come out and play option. Omega, you're trading home, where every move makes you feel less alone.
Good morning, everybody.
Morning, Troy, Matt, everybody.
Good morning. Happy Thursday. Happy July 31st, end of the month it is today.
Oh yeah. Tomorrow's
Yeah.
the big kahuna, Aug 1. Yeah.
There
If
it
you
is.
hated weather in July, you're gonna love August.
Man, I don't know. It's the old, it's like when you're in a drawdown and you're like, how much worse can this get?
In a dry.
Can't get any worse.
Now, how do you guys, as parents of younger kids, as you get to Aug 1, how do you look at that? Because you know school's coming right around the, like, how
School's
close are
coming
we to
hot
that?
and heavy.
Is
Like-
that
like
is that
J-Pow on the
Liberation
right.
Day in some fall? I'm joking. Is that
I say
Liberation-
I tell them, I say, listen, guys, it's just another day. We'll start. It's all good. It's a fresh start. It'll be great. Don't worry about it. And then I get in the car by myself and I say, hallelujah. 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 Yeah, so we'll see. School starts relatively soon. Sorry about being out yesterday. Papa got, you'd think with all the doctor's appointments, I have something wrong with me. It's unconnected. I just didn't feel good. I slept for about 13 hours yesterday, and then I woke up and I went back to bed. And that was good. And I think I'm feeling better now. So when in doubt, sleep 24 to 48 hours.
48 hours.
So, but anyway, in the midst of it, I looked at my phone last night about 11 p.m. and I said, you know what? I've got some positions on that are going to really benefit if we stay right here. Up 53, I think is where we were at the time. And so I hedged. I bought some ES option puts, and I'm happy to say those are down this morning because we are no longer up 53. We are now up 60. So market not in turmoil.
Not in turmoil today, baby.
No. Microsoft and Meta, life is good. I mean, to see, if you would have told me that, Microsoft is going to blow through, I think the expected move in Microsoft was 15 for earnings and Meta was 40. And they blew through. I mean, they're up quite a bit more than that, I think, at this point.
Meta's up 80 points.
Oh my! So that's twice the expected move.
That's insane. I mean, they were below 100 not like that long ago.
Wow,
that's crazy.
Meta. Sometimes I feel like a real. You think about these earnings plays. This is how you get sucked into earnings. It's like it only takes one of those.
Yeah.
To really.
Well, that's why, Troy, you bring a good point. I mean, I think the best risk management tool in the world by far, or technique, is size, right? And like we were talking about earning stuff yesterday in Meta, and I did I don't normally do many spec trades. We have gentleman by the name of Amit who's very good. He's very contrarian, but what he does is, just to give you a perspective, he might, on a range bound trade, he might do $10,000, but in spec, it's all size. He'll do $200. I'm doing a vertical debit spread. And I think size is so important in the earning stuff because you can't adjust. I ended up doing a 5 wide Microsoft Iron Condor at 1.6 times or whatever the expected move. So it was good in Microsoft for like not quite 60 points, 50 or whatever. But but I did 5 wide. I was going to do 10 wide. I did 5 wide. So you get, $300 or $400. So when you size earnings trades, the only sanity I've ever seen is you size it expecting you could lose the entire thing, right? And then you keep the size proper. It should be much, much, much less than your normal core trades.
For sure.
But people don't, because I just think, for people who sell strangles or whatever for earnings, yeah, it's high vol. Yes, the vol will come down. Absolutely. But who the heck knows on any, they're binary events. I mean, it's not, to bet on a binary event, you can't do sizing, right? On a, double calendar or whatever the trade is in SPX, you feel comfortable doing some type of reasonable size. But on these binary events, you're right. All it takes is one
luck.
Yeah. All it takes. That's why I think it makes more sense for these earnings plays. You take a small $100, $200, $300 directional butterfly at the expected move, or a vertical debit spread at the expected move. They're cheap, but at least you're not going into earnings to hit a single. You're going in to hit a multi-home run, so when you hit it, they're 200, 300%. That's what you want. I mean, what's the point in, trying to make 5% on an earnings play when your risk is you lose the whole thing, right?
The worst thing happened to me when I was first getting into options. In that one of the earlier trades I ever did was I was looking at earnings, because pre 0 days, earnings was kind of like how you got your kicks.
Right.
Now you can get your kicks like any day, multiple times a day.
Oh, you don't need earnings anymore with 0 days.
Yeah.
Yep.
But back in my day, they had those. You had to do that, and the worst thing happened to me. I put like $100. I bought a straddle in Yelp, I believe, and they dropped 30% after their earnings announcement.
Whew,
and
you're a genius, baby.
I think I had one. I bought one straddle because I didn't have any money, and it went to like $700, $800.
Really?
And I remember telling Rusty the next day, I said, dude, I think I figured this game out, man. I think I figured this out. I think you just buy straddles on earnings.
Oh, boy.
Yep.
And I proceeded to immediately size up with Netflix.
Oh, boy.
Which is in of itself was already like $1,000 stock. Yeah. So they're already expensive. And I think I bought 4 of them.
Wow.
And immediately lost $5,000.
Oh, yeah. Quickly.
And I thought to myself, okay, so maybe I should get into options education. I think it was from there I saw Dan Sheridan, and he set me straight a little bit. But hey, shout out options education.
Well, and you made a good point. When you think about straddles are a great strategy. But when you think about, if you want to talk about a rigged, when is a strategy rigged? Around earnings. When you buy a straddle at earnings, it's almost like Evel Knievel going over the Grand Canyon. He's got to make it to the Grand Canyon part just to live, right? That's your break even. Anything less than, when you think about it, when you buy a straddle for earnings, you needed to move the expected move just to break even at expiration, right? And then beyond that, so it's like you need a monster move like today, Microsoft or Meta, which are once in a long time that it does something like that. So, are there other ways to skin the cat at earnings? Yes, but it still is it's a spec. Even if, people say, well, I'm using a very conservative, I'm using an Iron Condor. I say in Chicago, my bad analogy, if you can excuse me for one bad analogy, I said, it's like when you go to buy a baseball bat in Chicago, you go into the store, most people will buy it for the purpose of using it and play baseball. But there's a select group of people in Chicago that will buy the baseball bat for extracurricular activity, specifically the gangs on the West and south side of Chicago. And that's the same thing. You can say, I'm using an Iron Condor for earnings, right? It's a conservative. No. You're using a baseball bat for the wrong, it's okay to do an Iron Condor for earnings if you think the expected move will be less, right? That's the whole play with earnings is, do you think we're going to beat the expected move or be less? If you think it's going to be less, an Iron Condor, but you can't size it because the minute you size it, it's a binary event. I don't see how you can do it. Shout out to Louisville Bat Factory. If you have any kids and you go up in that direction, one of the best experiences of the life. And I get these bats and for the kids, and you come home and let's keep these nice, kids. Let's keep these in the room, and the next day they're destroyed. But that's what bats are for, right? It's
like when you go on vacation and you go to the grocery store when you first get there to load up, and you buy a 2-liter of Diet Coke, and your wife says, "Oh, that's awesome! Like you're doing it 1 2-liter for the entire vacation. That's really smart."
That's right.
Then you just look at her and you go, and she goes, "It's for the entire vacation, right? It's not just for today, right?
It's for the entire vacation.
Yeah,
It's for getting out of the parking lot, honey.
It's for getting out of the parking.
Yeah.
That's it. That is it.
Yeah. So I, Tom, in the rougher parts of Scotland, a sports shop will sell 1,000 baseball bats a year, but 0 baseballs. Makes you wonder.
But 0 baseballs, it's great. 0.
I'm listening to a 6-part podcast on Mary Queen of Scots. And one thing
is this a little Tom Holland?
Yeah, one thing about the Scots I'll say is they hate England.
Yes,
they hate England.
It's
still
it's the bumper sticker. I root for whoever England is playing.
Yeah,
which can be found in Scotland.
England
Ireland,
really
Wales.
is the Duke basketball of countries surrounding. It's a very interesting.
And what would Scotland be?
Oh, Scotland. I mean, Scotland would be. See, it's beautiful, but you can't say it's won a ton in history, and so, I mean,
they're the survivors.
They're survivors.
Who would Scotland be in college basketball?
Who's a survivor who's just tough and the fans are just thick and thin?
I don't want to say this because as a Tennessee fan, this is going to piss me off, but I got it. I think they're the Florida Gators of basketball. Like they're kind of dirty.
Wow.
But anyway.
I would never say that.
I would never.
We'll see. I don't know. So anyway, listen, we've been talking about EMAs. But first off, I want to talk about, shout out to ourselves. You're listening to a bit of a bad boy show, because for the first time in history, we got slapped by YouTube.
Oof. Viewer discretion is advised.
Are you serious?
We got slapped by YouTube for being a little bit of bad boys because apparently you can't show other people's stuff in your own
YouTube on YouTube.
You can't go YouTube on YouTube. And so when I showed the YouTube wrestling clips, by nightfall, YouTube had removed that and said, "Hey, content, you can't put that restricted content."
Was that Hulk Hogan? Was that the
the Hulk Hogan Macho Man interview?
Oh yeah.
So you can't listen. Don't think this is just like some hide your kids, hide your wife when you're listening to the OO show.
Viewer discretion is advised.
Yeah,
that was as good a clip. That was a phenomenal clip. That 2-minute, the Hulk Hogan one.
Oh yeah,
with Macho Man. I mean, that was phenomenal. Yeah.
Listen, it is what it is. So anyway,
you stepped over the line, Troy.
Yeah, this is the Beverly Hills Cop of YouTube. So, all right. So anyway, we were looking at EMAs, and then Mr. T, when talking about an EMA trade, proceeded to show us the most opposite of an EMA trade you could do, but is a great test. And I thought to myself, Mr. T, shout out Mr. T, not that one, the other one. Well, I'll actually shout out both of them. they're both on the A team today because I present to you guys the most non-EMA trade you could do, but is a great test. And I give you Mr. T's Rick. So this, Matt also makes the point that this very well could have been a past episode he was watching and put this on. So I don't want to give this to Mr. T.
No, you should give it. I think what this is I think this is from the video that we put out this weekend as far as the entry conditions. The floating the entry and using a VIX intraday move down to trigger. And then I think what Mr. T did, and if you're listening, Mr. T, chime in the chat. I think he added exits to it. I think that's what he did. I think he added exits. And I could pull up that back test if you give me just a minute, and let me run this and match it to the dates and everything, and also the sizing. We want to match the sizing as well. So he did it at a 4% allocation, and we'll break our rule and do a little live back testing refinement here. You know, we say we don't do live back testing on the show, and we end up doing it all the time. So I mean,
and this would be a definitely long delta.
Yeah. So
from the Greek's point of view, you're starting out decently long delta. So you right.
Yes.
Mr. T, what happens is we ask Mr. T, we say, hey, Mr. T, what's your prediction for this test? And he says, prediction? Gain.
So
that's a Rocky 3 reference. That's a Rocky 3 reference.
Yeah.
I think this is the same strikes and entry conditions. Right. He just added exits, and it does increase the win rate just a tick, but it increases the capture rate maybe 15-20%,
which is not insignificant.
The original test had a capture rate of 18%, and we love it when people take back tests and make their own back tests. That is fantastic. So shout out Mr. T.
Yes.
Let's look at this trade and see what he's doing on the exits. Because
not only do we love it, one could argue the show wouldn't exist if people didn't keep sending me tests.
There you go.
So I love it very much.
So what's interesting is there's just so many ways to chop up a back test, and he kept all the same entry conditions, which I kind of like.
Yes.
Just focusing on one part of things to improve, like not trying to change the whole thing all at once, but doing it in steps. It gives me the idea, Troy, maybe tomorrow, I know we're in EMA week, but listen, if the people have spoken, this might need another chop up tomorrow, because as the person who kind of put the video out there, I didn't spend overly long trying to refine the entry conditions. I used big round numbers, 1%, 2 hours, 0.01. I guarantee you, numbers. Yeah, there's refinement that can be done. So let's look at this. So what he's doing is Ricks have attentive doom. So what's attentive doom on this one? Well, you've got a 0.25% where it's doomed. So if you finish flat to down a 0.25%, you're going to be between the long strikes, and that's going to die on the vine. So what he has is he's got rails, and he also did something really interesting with Ricks, which used to see a lot more back in the day, which is he leg grouped them. What's a leg group? A leg group is when you enter as a single trade, and then you're splitting this bad boy up. So the put side and the call side are managed separately. So you have put debit spread, call debit spread, they're managed separately. And what he's got is three things: an early exit, a stop loss, and a price move trigger. And that's three rails for each side of a debit spread, which is not something I've seen a lot and is pretty interesting. What do you guys think?
I mean, it makes sense on the exit of the put side. Obviously, he's long delta, and it's saying exit when price moves up 0.3%. You're starting to take some good pipe at that point, right?
Well, so okay, on the
Part of
put,
it?
so on the put side, he's exiting when the price moves up.
Oh, right. Because
So Troy, can you
I'm sorry. Right.
Troy scroll down in the trade log so we can see a
When it
little
moves
bit, if you
up.
don't mind.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. So I think
Sorry
what
about
he's trying to do, is just if you have an instance like on June 24th. Yeah. Tuesday, June 24th, underlying price moves up. There we go. Right there. There you go. So he is looking at that debit spread. He's paying $3.90 for it. The trade moves against him. How much?
What
About
date are you on, Matt? What date?
June 24th.
Okay, got you.
So it moves up 20 points and the price moves up. So what he's doing is he's not letting that debit spread go to zero. So he gets 60 cents out. So, I mean,
But the call spread is killing it.
call spread right above it.
So that's why
That's right.
He's still making a ton on that trade.
So on that day, he paid about $13 and exited for about 26. So a double. So
Yeah, I mean, but are you really getting? I like what he's doing, but are you really? You're selling is that big of a deal? You're buying the spread at 3.90. You sell it at 60 cents.
right. I don't know. That's a great question. Because
the call spread's crushing it.
the call spread is crushing.
Did I lose that 60 cents? I mean, I'd be more worried about protecting the profit of the
call side.
Because the call side
Well, and so that's an interesting point. And this is maybe where can we juice this more? If we put this as the baseline test at a 4% allocation on whatever starting he used, then I think the chat could have a go at it and see, because that's another interesting way to do it.
Wouldn't you be more worried? I'm more worried about the call side.
Yeah, losing its value.
I mean, the 60 cents left on the put side isn't as important as I'd be concerned because you're up so much that what if we back off 40 points?
I think the call side would exit. It would not be worth $25. It wouldn't even be worth $9.
Yeah.
I think so. That's where, and you have those days like on July 8th, both sides exit for a stop loss, and you take again, roughly a $13.50, $14 trade, and you get less than $2 out of it. But I mean, again, if it's going to go to zero, an 80% loser is better than 100% loser. So you can see why the back test. Now, the one thing I need to do to match this back test, I need to agree with his starting funds of 30K. Troy, did you drop this in the chat already?
I did.
All right, let me pull one of these bad boys up. I'll get a couple windows here going. So if you run back the OG back test from the video at that same 4% allocation with the same starting funds, it has, it's got, there's one trade different, so I have to look at that. But you're looking at 200 trades or 400 trades if you're doing the split. And the capture rate goes from 19.6 to 21.9. The drawdown is where to your point about the drawdown, Dan, the drawdown on the OG test was 8.2%. Okay. The drawdown on this test is 6.4%. So that's,
it's good.
1 point. This is challenging my mental math, but that's about a 25% reduction in drawdown.
Right.
And the CAGR is also higher. So the CAGR is higher, drawdown lower, hence better MAR. So I would argue this is an incremental change rather than a structural change. Basically, what you're trying to avoid is you're trying to avoid a situation where the tent of doom just completely collapses you and you just go to zero and over again. And if you go to zero a couple times in a row, or a repeat thing. So here's what's interesting. Here's what I'm going to do live. Troy, can you go back to your link and just do the chat a favor? Because I think we need to talk about something that's kind of a trend. Say, this is the OG, right? Run that for me. Yeah.
Mr. T's.
Yeah, Mr. T. Mr. T's OG.
Mr. T's right.
Mr. T, run that year to date because Ricks are dead. I've been told.
I just did this.
Yeah.
Troy.
Get ready to rock.
Troy, I've been told Ricks are dead.
Get ready to rock.
Is this the B team?
Yeah. And listen, Matt is being facetious because it's about to kill it. But also, I do want to preface, sometimes trades do die.
Trades do die.
Trades do die. But Ricks, right now, those who said Ricks are dead, the rumor of Rick's death is perhaps slightly exaggerated.
I mean, listen, it's only 62 data points, and really it's half of that. I mean, you can actually argue it's not half of that. Like, there's the discussion of is it 31 data points or 62? It actually is 62 data points because these are managed separately. So 30 days, 31 days, 62 trades, and you're winning 39% of the time. Keep in mind, you're basically guaranteed to have a loser every time. So 39% win rate on a leg grouped trade where one of them is going to lose every time. I mean, that
it's a negative theta trade. So I mean, this is
100%.
It's the meme. You have my attention. You have my attention.
Matt, let me ask you, I like when Matt did this over the weekend when he did the new video, the version I liked was getting rid of that short put.
Yeah.
If you just, I don't know if we just.
You could do that with Mr. T's for sure.
Yeah, I'm just curious because it's like on the few times we go down and you can explode them, right?
You can. I don't know. Let me run one of his here. Now, you're probably going to have to juice the allocation maybe a little bit because he's only doing this for $1,200 at the start. So you might juice that allocation because those naked puts are going to be, when I say naked, that long put might. Oh, there you go. There it is.
It does improve it.
It does improve it. It also doesn't take every trade. There's 3 days it didn't take the trade because that put is going to cost more when you don't have a short. The long put's going to cost more when you don't have a short put.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Well, this is how you can deal with that. Let me just do this real quick. Again, when in doubt, go higher.
Pretend you're Jeff Bezos. Oh my God.
But then just one contract.
So why are we doing this? We're doing this to make sure it runs every single time. That's what we're doing. Yeah. Now, comparing the MAR and stuff, when you change from $30,000 at 4% in a back test to $100,000 with a guaranteed run, your MAR, your CAGR, all that's going to be not comparable. So you want to start looking at win rate and capture rate.
Yeah. So this is what we do then. Let's put this back in. So that's 3.6. Let's add. Actually,
it's 22% capture rate, 33% win rate.
Yeah, we make this easy for you here. Let me there you go. So now we're going to run that with one. All right, let's run that back and go from there. And then we'll talk about what we're going to do.
I agree with what the chat says, by the way, that this does need exit slippage and stop loss slippage for sure. So that's going to have, in my opinion, that's going to have an impact that we should consider. I think it's still a valid concept. And this is using the minute check on the stop loss, which, there's a discussion to be had too. Minute check on stop loss on a debit, is that a different concept than a credit trade, which goes against you in kind of a different way? You can be on the receiving end of the Greeks. That's a pretty nuanced conversation because these exits are happening late in the day. So the effects of delta, but also gamma 4 minutes before close could be significant, which again, I'm just spitballing here. It kind of brings up the idea of, is there a version of this using a profit target that makes sense on either side? And back in the day, there were some people that traded Ricks, and I think this is more common in like a reverse iron butterfly if you're in a wild market where you leg group both of them and have profit targets on both. So hypothetically, hitting a profit target on both sides of the trade, or using an exit for a profit triggered off movement or something else. A lot of different ways to slice this apple.
Yeah, and I think, I'm just thinking of yesterday with somebody, this name Amit, but just use this for a live example. Because he had a lot of short-term, short-term trades expiring Friday. So might have had a theta of like 4,500, 5,000, right? Because your positive theta is going to bloom, right, guys, with anything short-term. So he's like, well, wait a second. I have a trade that gets short deltas on the way up, long on the way down, had different double diagonal, different trades on. I'm going to do 2 or 3 reverse iron condors as a hedge, because you have big
smooth it out.
Pardon me? Yeah, because you had big catalysts Thursday and Friday, right? And so he put a reverse iron condor on that expires today 2 or 3 times, 20 wide. So you're picking up 20, 30 long deltas on the way up. So that cushions the what do you call it? That hedges some.
Yes, you're smoothing it out.
So that's more of a comment, and I was just thinking about this. I don't, this is just more of a thought, not a well thought out thought, but I like the test that Matt, the reverse iron condors. That's something that could work a long time. And do you ever look at something like, say, okay, 75% of the capital that's devoted to reverse iron condors, hey, I look at the back test, I go with it. But on a short-term basis, maybe some of the capital, like hedging, like this type of thing, hey, I've got a ton of short theta. It might not be back tested, but you've got like a week like this, you have some serious catalysts on the board. It doesn't mean
sure.
It's going to move it. Like FOMC, you had Meta and Microsoft Wednesday night. Tonight, you've got Amazon, Apple, what's that thing? PCE in the morning.
Yeah.
It's subjective thing. And I know it's like, can you do a little of both where you're saying, hey, I like the test that Matt did, but from a hedging, do you look, that might be a little different where you have to look at some of these potential catalysts? Or
I think what you're talking about is dynamic sizing, really, Dan, because what you're saying is you have a back test or a concept that works.
Yes.
And what you're really talking about is, this is a market where I want to adjust the sizing. So taking a dynamic or a discretionary approach to the sizing, knowing that the underlying concept you have a level of confidence in.
Well, and you're more nervous about, let's say, probably your DC or your trades met yesterday, because they're into expiration.
Yeah.
The theta is up there, right?
Yeah.
And you're like, hey, I don't want to get out of the trade, but I see these are some real catalysts that possibly could move the market.
Sure.
At least maybe I'll hedge a few deltas. Yeah, that's a good. I never thought of that. Dynamic.
Dynamic position sizing.
So that just means, changing your.
Yeah, I don't know if that's a technical term. I'm just thinking out loud. That's how I would describe what you're talking about, of using your stable or your library of back tests or strategies that you have, and then making judgment calls about what scaling up or scaling down during an event. Listen,
four things real quick.
Okay,
4 things.
Rattle them off.
No, number 1, shout out Dan's hairline, because whenever Dan goes like this, there's nothing. Like, you see me do this, and it's like you can see. I mean, we're heading.
I'm with you, Troy.
Dan is older than us. I don't know but it's ridiculous. I have to tell you that because it does not look that to be the case. So shout out Dan's hairline.
Just so you know, I have nothing to do with my hairline.
Well, no, it's a gift. Two, shout out the girl that just ran past me because she was running 4 miles away when I was driving here, and I just saw her still running.
That's impressive.
So
in this weather,
right? The humidity. Yeah.
Number 3, for those who are new to maybe have started the small account challenge, and we've been in a drawdown with DCs the last week or two. Notice what happened yesterday, which is really interesting to me, where people were up big, and they immediately went down after FOMC, and then after post market close, they immediately reinflated, and that happens. So just sometimes the DCs, you kind of, it's like a wave.
It's a roller coaster.
You do have to kind of just let them ride sometimes because they are like a wave. So
you're talking like when the SPX was down 20, you had a little bit of pump in the vol.
Yeah.
That's when they rose a little. Yeah, I've such those type of trades rose. And then by the end of the day, because the market came back and vol went back down, you're saying that's when it let it out, Troy?
Yep.
Yeah.
And then they reinflated. Finally, Rob asked, did you guys discuss end of month trades for today? We'll look at it end of month.
Sure didn't.
Because talking about drawdowns, there was one that everybody loved. I've seen this in so many discords.
Yes.
And that thing just loses. Now watch it win today. But basically there's a trade where you can trade a straddle the last 10 minutes of the month.
Or variation of going long in the last 15 minutes.
Of today, like the last day.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sucker.
But listen, we should talk about it in the context of other trades that have been super popular for a time, i.e. the vol trade and the vol trade on OPEX in 2022.
Oh my.
The FOMC short before the minutes, long after the minutes. That's been off and on. It won like 20 times in a row or something.
Wow.
But we'll talk about it. We should talk about it tomorrow.
Yeah. So anyway, listen, guys, have a great trading day.
Yeah.
We'll be back tomorrow with some fun stuff. So talk to you soon.
Thanks, sir.